Congratulations to CNN for their latest story on the riots in Milwaukee that have qualified it to be the very first honoree and the Don't Make the Black Kids Angry Hall of Fame. Now, you know, on this channel, we do a lot of stories about black mob violence, black criminality, black on white crime, and how it's wildly out of proportion, right? But you know, we're always doing two stories at the same time here, because we almost always do, at the same time we're showing you that, we're also showing you stories about reporters and public officials and how they ignore, deny, condone, excuse, encourage, and even lie about it. Now, I don't go around calling people liars, okay? I normally do not. But sometimes when you do stories on race, racial violence, black on white crime, if you don't call somebody a liar, then you're not being accurate. So this story I'm going to show you from CNN contains what could be the single biggest piece of denial, deceit, and delusion I have ever seen. For that, they get themselves a little spot in the Hall of Fame. Check it out.
Protests and violence erupting again in Milwaukee. Demonstrators firing shots.
A lot of shots right now.
Throwing objects.
Oh, it looks like the gas tank just popped.
And setting cars on fire. At least one person was shot and rushed to the hospital. A police officer also hospitalized after a rock smashed the windshield of a squad car. The weekend of violence began on Saturday with demonstrators torching several businesses, overturning cars and throwing rocks at police to protest the police shooting death of 23-year-old Sylvell Smith. Smith was shot fleeing a traffic stop when police say he turned toward the officer with a gun in his hand. The officer's body camera capturing the deadly encounter. Milwaukee's mayor tried to address the festering anger about whether the shooting was justified.
Without question, he had a gun in his hand. And I want our community to know that.
Governor Scott Walker activating the National Guard to assist police and declaring a state of emergency.
I was worried about whether or not things would escalate.
Smith's family and friends holding a vigil marked by prayers.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
With his sister calling for peace.
Don't bring the violence here and the ignorance here.
So far, so good. This is kind of a standard CNN story. I mean, sometimes the events on the ground just overwhelm the ability of reporters, especially when you're doing your first day story on it, overwhelms their ability to ignore, deny, condone, excuse, encourage, even lie about it. So, I mean, if people are shooting guns, throwing rocks at cops, and they're going to the hospital, you pretty much have to say, yeah, well, that's happening. And you don't really get a chance to say it's a peaceful protest. But that didn't stop CNN from trying. Now, what did that last part say? The woman, what did she say at the very end? The dead guy's sister, what did she say?
With his sister calling for peace.
Don't bring the violence here and the ignorance here.
With his sister calling for peace.
Don't bring the violence here and the ignorance here.
But CNN cut it off. And the act of cutting off what she said qualifies them for their Hall of Fame award. Check out the entire thing she said.
Who is mama gonna fight for her love? Burning down shit ain't gonna help nothing. Don't burning down shit we need in our community. Take that shit to the suburbs. Burn that shit down. We need our shit. We need our weed. I don't wear it, but we need it. Who is mama gonna fight for her love? Burning down shit ain't gonna help nothing. Don't burning down shit we need in our community. Take that shit to the suburbs. Burn that shit down. We need our shit. We need our weed. I don't wear it, but we need it.
We do a lot of videos here, and in the videos and in my book, Don't Make the Black Kids Angry, we document so much duplicity from the people committing this violence and these crimes and the people who report it. But I've never seen anything quite as bad, quite as stark, quite as explicit as this. I mean, come on, CNN. Do you really think by completely changing what this woman said, from advocating riots to advocating peace, do you really think you're going to help stop making the black kids angry? Congratulations to CNN for their latest story on the riots in Milwaukee that have qualified it to be the very first honoree and the Don't Make the Black Kids Angry Hall of Fame. Now, you know, on this channel, we do a lot of stories about black mob violence, black criminality, black on white crime, and how it's wildly out of proportion, right? But you know, we're always doing two stories at the same time here, because we almost always do, at the same time we're showing you that, we're also showing you stories about reporters and public officials and how they ignored